How can I talk about these topics, critical topics like immigration, racism at work, and forms of activism, if I don't feel like I'm an expert in it?
And if you don't want to be alone in creating your brand, check out Brand Academy, our women-only coaching community where you learn the skills you need to grow in your business, brand, and life, which can be found at sinaport.com.
Quickly introduce myself. My personal branding journey started in 2018. I was really struggling to find a career path that fits to who I wanted to be. So I launched my podcast, the Shared Diversity Podcast, where I talked about how to use the power of diversity to help brands change the world. And from there on, it really took off. I was blessed to work with brands like Adidas, BMW, and consult them on brands, on building a brand with purpose. I'm also a keynote speaker and teacher. So nowadays I do get invited a lot to talk about branding, but a lot of my keynotes also are just around career development and talking about my journey, which I don't think I've ever thought it would come that far. Alhamdulillah, and I'm really grateful that I have this platform that I can connect with other creative professionals who want to build their brand, and find a career path that really fits to who they want to be and their values, instead of trying to fit in and trying to change who they are. So I'm excited to talk a little bit more about a specific topic today. I think the last two parts were really focused on personal branding itself, and it's always been kind of the basis of what I do. And I want to bring that into this session as well. But today's topic is actually inspired by a question I got after last LinkedIn Live from Ajibola, and I'm really excited that she reached out and shared this question with me. I'm not going to read all of it because I'm not sure how comfortable Ajibola is to share this with the wider audience, but I want to get into the exact formulation of the question that she asked. So let me pull it up. One of the things that she asked is, how do you consider yourself in terms of if you build a brand and if you build a career and you have a specific point of view, whether that it's about a social justice topic that's important to you, a personal topic that might affect you because you are one of the only people in a country. For myself, a lot of times I'm the only Muslim woman in professional spaces that I enter, and of course I'm German, but a lot of people don't think that I'm German. They think you have some immigration background, which I do, but not in a way that most people think. So her question was basically, how can I talk about these topics, critical topics like immigration, racism at work, and forms of activism, if I don't feel like I'm an expert in it? So how do I talk about these critical topics and be seen as an expert, although I might not be an expert or might not be professionally trained in these topics? So I wanted to broaden the question a little bit because I think a lot of us can identify with the question that she asked, but there's also another part of it. And so this session is going to be mostly about how to be seen as an expert in your field and how to understand whether you want to be seen as an expert in topics you have a strong opinion about. So that could be topics of immigration, activism. On LinkedIn, we see a lot of discussions around the World Cup lately about diversity. Everyone seems to have an opinion. So how can you make sure that you talk about these topics without jeopardizing your professional career or your personal brand if you're not an outright activist or you're not trained in that topic? So for me, it's about 4 questions you can ask yourself. So let's get into those 4 questions, and then we open the room for questions. The number 1 question is, do you know enough? Now, do you know enough is a question that you need to ask yourself in everything that you put out there, especially when you want to build a personal brand about a specific expertise that you have or in an industry. So let's say you are in the marketing field, and there is a marketing campaign coming out, let's say, nowadays with the World Cup, for instance, and it's a marketing campaign that has to do with, human rights and diversity, and you have a strong opinion about it because you have maybe a personal viewpoint, right? The question is, do you know enough about the nuances of the situation? It's really important because nowadays on all platforms, but especially on LinkedIn, we see a lot of people recycling other people's opinions. So there's one opinion about what we should all think about, let's say the World Cup, where it's hosted, what the conditions are in that country, what the conditions are for visitors of the country. And people just keep posting the same thing. And you can see in a lot of those posts that those people probably have never been to the country that they speak about, that they probably don't have a political science or social economy background or education, but they just repeat what they hear from other people or what they hear from some media outlets without really doing their research. You can be one of those people if you want to. I don't believe that anyone in this room actually wants to be one of the people that just kind of repeats other people's opinions. So it's very, very important, specifically if you want to be seen as an expert in your field. You say, I'm a marketing professional, but I might not know enough about the country that this campaign is in. So let me speak about it from a viewpoint of what I know, from a marketing viewpoint. Or let me get in contact with experts who actually understand, who've been to the country, maybe even marketing professionals from the country, right? So always ask yourself, do you know enough? That's something that I ask myself a lot, and that's why I don't post a lot about a lot of things because I might be able to have these nuanced conversation in private with a person who I know. So with my friends or with coworkers, with family that might have different opinions that I do, and I might be able to have these conversations in a very educational way, but I don't know enough to be able to put that out on social media and say, this is my opinion because this is my expertise. Now, a lot of people don't know that I've actually studied media and marketing media in the Global South. So I would actually be quite qualified to talk about this topic. But then I go to the next filter, which is the next question. So the first question is, do you know enough? The second question is, what do you want to be known for? Right? So I might know enough about the topic to have a very strong opinion and an educated opinion because I've done academic research on this. I've worked in a lot of countries that had different, rules than I have maybe here in Germany. So I might be able to talk about it from an expertise point of view, but my next level, my next filter is, what do I want to be known for? Do I want to be known for the person who speaks out about, who is the political voice of the marketing industry, for instance? And my personal answer to that is, no, I don't. I don't want to be known for political topics because that's not the place where I want to be in. I don't want to be a spokesperson for politics in my professional life. Now, I can, like I said, have these conversations within my group of people, even at work, right, with coworkers, offline. I can maybe create a project that that does what I believe in, right, and kind of educates in that matter. But I don't want to be known for that on social media. I don't think social media, in my personal opinion, is a safe space to talk about politics. Not nowadays, not for a long time. And then my personal opinion is that no, I don't want to be known for that. I don't want to be a keynote speaker talking about politics. All these things I had to ask myself. Now, I have friends who've studied with me, who are journalists, who have been in the field, And they are out, like, they love to speak about these topics. They love the discussions. Of course, they get a lot of, negative feedback, like backlash sometimes, because that's what you get in politics, specifically when you put it on social media. But that's just, their decision to this was, yes, I know enough. And second, yes, I want to be known for it. So they would get invited to specific events to speak about this. My answer would be no. I can give you another example of this. And some people might say, oh, one post is not going to make my entire personal brand, right? Just because I talk about this once, just because I put my opinion out there once, doesn't mean I'm going to be known for it. But I'll give you a reality check on this one, and that's a very recent one. So I've been working in inclusive branding for a while, and I recently, I think it was 4 weeks ago, I spoke about one project I did with Adidas, which was developing a prayer room for employees at Adidas in headquarters. And I would give tips to other employees on other companies or in other industries who would also develop something like this, an inclusive space or even a prayer space at work. And I gave tips on that. Now, I didn't know that it would blow up like it did, because I genuinely just wanted to share my experience. I got a lot of questions from people who knew that I was developing these prayer rooms, and I thought, okay, let me just post about it. Now, it blew up in that way that I actually got hired and asked by multiple corporations to help them develop a prayer room in their offices as well. Now, I did not anticipate to be the spokesperson for faith representation in the workplace, but that one post got so much attention that I eventually became that person. So some people now on LinkedIn, they only know me through that post, and they know me as, Sina is the person who creates inclusive workspaces, especially for employees of faith, and that's why we want to hire her for, developing a prayer room at our headquarters. Now, I don't have a problem with that, because as I said, I am one of my, consulting services is inclusive branding solutions. So to be hired in that is, it's beautiful for me. It's an honor for me. But I didn't post that with the intention to get more jobs, right? To get more consulting gigs. So you will never know what post will reach that volume of audience that you are eventually known by a group of people only for that post topic. So that's why you need to understand yourself. Do you want to be known for that? For me, as a positive example would be the prayer room. I'm happy to be known for that. As a kind of negative example would be if I would post a political post and then suddenly I would get a lot of questions about, can you come on this talk show to talk about this political view? And I would have to say no, because I don't want to be known for that, right? Now, you might have a different opinion. You might say, okay, actually, I don't mind. I have a very strong opinion about this issue, and I don't mind being known for it. I don't mind, speaking about it, being hired to talk about it or consult about it. But that's something that is just something that you need to answer for yourself. So first question, do you know enough? Second question, what do you want to be known for? The next question that you can ask yourself, and this is the almost last question you ask yourself in this kind of process, is what is the angle or viewpoint that I could speak on this about? So sometimes we have a very strong opinion about something, and we might not want to be known for that strong opinion, but maybe we can find an angle to it from our expertise that could work. So I give you an example. When I'm giving a lot of controversial examples here, but that's just, everyday work that I do. So when the revolution in Iran started, a lot of people started reaching out or posting on social media how brave the women in Iran are to take off their headscarf and defy the government's regulations. And a lot of this very important narrative kind of was misconstrued in a way that people took it as an opportunity to say headscarves, hijab, and in extension, Muslim women are oppressive, and it's just a symbol of oppression. Now, this is not something new. We've seen this in the last couple of years. And, this is an example from my kind of environment that reaches me because I am a Muslim woman. It affects me, right? So people would say, oh, I would get DMs on Instagram, why do you support the oppression of women by wearing a headscarf? And for me, it was very important that I have these conversations in a safe space. And like I said, social media, I don't believe it's a very safe space to have these conversations. But I thought, okay, I want to speak about this because people reach out to me and I don't want to start, 5-page conversations in my DMs. Let me post about it from an angle that I believe is important. And I posted a post, and it was just a very emotional kind of reaction to the fact that someone took such an important moment for the women and people of Iran and misconstrued it in a way that worked for their, viewpoints, which were just very, Islamophobic. So I took that moment and I said, okay, let me post just something that reminds people that the conversation about headscarf or hijab is not about the hijab issue, because hijab issue was kind of trending at that time. I said it's not about hijab issue, it's about the choice, right? It should be called choice issue, because the important part is that women around the world should have the choice to wear what they want. And that is the conversation we should be having to support the women of Iran, the women in France, whoever, like women around the world that are really struggling with that. Now, I've been working like I said, inclusive branding for a very long time. I've helped brands like Adidas to develop sports headscarves and hijabs to give those solutions to their audiences and consumers and women out there who want to play sports, even if they have, and have the choice to wear what they want. So for me, that was an angle that I said, okay, I'm not going to talk about the revolution itself, because I believe that here are enough experts that can talk about it from a very educational viewpoint, but I'm going to talk about some of the problems that people bring up, which is the headscarf or the hijab. And I posted this on a Sunday evening, which everyone on LinkedIn knows Sunday evening is probably the worst time to post anything. And it got about 400 likes within the first 4 hours. So for me, it was important to say, okay, I want to talk about this issue, not going to talk about it from a political point of view because of what I just said. Don't want to be known for that. But I'm going to talk about it from a personal point of view. So you can find an angle, a viewpoint to an issue that we want to talk about. And it's the same with, let's say, you are a business owner and you want to talk about the newest parental leave regulations for business owners in a country, right? It's the same for any kind of like restriction, let's say like data protection, and you work in tech, right? And you want to talk about this issue. But maybe you don't want to be known for being the person who always talks about like privacy and data protection. You can find a viewpoint and angle that fits who you want to be known for, what you want to be known for, without being the spokesperson for that issue itself. Now, let's come to the last question. And I know these topics are really nuanced, so I'm excited to hear some questions that you might have. Personal viewpoints. Last time we had a very, very interesting discussion about mental health, and some listeners were saying, I struggle with this mental health illness, but I don't want to talk about it at work because I might get, fired, or I might get looked at weird, or, I don't want to be that person who's just known for their illness. And it's so important to find nuances, find ways to make these things that have happened to you and that are so important to you and that, influence your life in such a great way and make it yours, because that's actually the secret of getting paid to be who you are, to create career around who you are and all your experiences. Those experiences might be negative, positive, but at some point they will all help you grow and be the person that you want to be in an environment without trying to change or try to fit in. So I'm really excited that we have this community, and community is really important to achieve that. So let's come to the last question. First question was, do you know enough? Second, what do you want to be known for? Third, can I find an angle or viewpoint that works? And fourth, and that's probably the most important question, is consider your audience, right? So on whatever platform you are, your audience will be different. I don't speak a lot on my Instagram about social justice issues because I know that 96 or women's issues because I know that 96% of my Instagram followers, and that's, a lot, alhamdulillah, are women. And they are mostly women of color, Muslim women of faith. And I don't need to educate those women because they go through this every day. So for me, it's important to raise these conversations in a platform and an environment where I know that my viewpoint might add something new to the table. But I know, for instance, on Instagram, I don't need to educate women about what they go through because they know themselves. So I like to focus on the solutions that I can provide for them to build their career. And if you're interested in some of the content that I create on Instagram, make sure that you follow. It's at Sina Port Official. I'm super happy to always kind of merge these platforms. LinkedIn is for me different because, as you know, LinkedIn is a very diverse platform. I have CEOs follow me. I have students follow me. I have people of all backgrounds. And that's with the companies that I've worked with, keynotes that I've done, brands I collaborate with. There's so many different people that I can't say, oh, I'm not going to speak about this topic. I want to know who is my audience on LinkedIn and how much do they know about an issue, and then how can I bring a new viewpoint to it. So on LinkedIn, I always consider my audience professionals. They want to have professional discussions. But I also have some students here or people who are just developing their career. I might have people here that might not know about a lot of issues that women go through, people of color go through. So I do use this platform more to talk about my inclusive branding projects and kind of develop solutions for that.
My name is Kenza, obviously. I'm a student, undergrad student in London. I'm doing international politics. I'm interested in a lot of stuff, but this degree I feel like it opens a lot of doors. I just wanted to ask. Firstly, I just wanted to ask. So I'm thinking about gaining knowledge, and obviously as a young student, you're trying to make side hustles to not only make your income, but also try find your interests and building your ideas. I don't know how to form it into a question, but how did you find, not how did you find your interest, but how you built slowly, how you got to know a set idea? I don't know how to explain it.
You mean like a business idea or a career idea or a project idea?
Because for example, I have ideas, there's so much, there's the career wise, and then there's the personal, how I want to make a career, but a personal kind of mix it together, personal and career, because obviously international politics has a lot of things. I've done this program, it's called the Ready program, and we help people in Zambia creating a sustainable product. So, that's one kind of thing, and then the other aspect is I like football. And helping girls into the world of football, and I come from a Moroccan background, so it's not as popular and stuff. So I don't know.
Well, now it is. After the World
Cup. I know. Yeah. I literally, because no one knew about Morocco football. I thought that it's a long time ago. I was thinking about football and how to put basically Morocco on the map, but World Cup done that already.
It's done that already. Yeah, nice. Well, we still need the women's teams to be there.
Yeah, the women's. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but okay. So basically, you're asking how to find your path. The question is, the answer is rapid testing. So it is really, really important that you just do things, you just try them out. get as much, you're 19, like you have so much time. Get as much experience as you can try as many things as you can, because everyone here on the call that's probably, in their, 20s, 30s, 40s understands the kind of privilege you have in like your early life to just try out things without a lot of risk. Because you can quickly, go back to your, live with your parent at your parents' house. You can travel, you can do your studies and work at the same time. So it's really about really rapid testing. If you say, okay, I would like to gain some work experience in here, because that's the biggest, I think, work experience, and not just in a traditional way where you apply for an internship. I think I only had one internship in my life, and it didn't really teach me a lot, honestly, because it's corporate internships. They just want you to do the tasks that they don't want to do, right? So what I would really advise you is to work with startups, work with entrepreneurs. Literally, you could go on social media right now, like go to the person you follow that you really love, maybe like a leader, like maybe a woman who works in the football industry, and you can text her and say, hey, my skills are I'm a very good speaker. I'm very good. I love football and I know a lot about it. I can do whatever you want, for you. I could answer your emails. I could manage your projects. I could, plan your next football tournament, or call up sponsors. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. It doesn't matter at this point in time whether you get paid or not. And I know this is a very controversial thing to say, but I've done a lot of jobs for free, and it has helped me so much to understand what I like doing, what I'm good at doing. And honestly, when people see that you bring value, after a month, after 3 months, they will offer you a job in no time. They might just offer you a job right now. If you say, I can do this, this, and that for you, they will say, okay, I give you, $500 a month or $200 a month, and it will really help you to get that experience that you want. Because right now, you have to be driven by truth, not money, right? In the beginning, it's really important to understand, what do you truly love doing? What kind of people do you want to work with? What kind of environment? And working with an entrepreneur or startup will even help you to say, maybe I should own my own business, or maybe I will help you grow your business, or maybe I want to work for some of the world's biggest sports brands, and they will need me to understand how to work within a small team. They would want to see my work experience, and in the beginning, it's really easier to get the experience, not care about the money, and then the money will follow.
And if you're looking for a more immersive personal branding experience, check out our new women community, Brand Academy. Meet successful women who share your ambition and values, and learn together strategies that help you grow in your business, brand, and life.
If you love this video, please make sure that you like and subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear this. And I'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.